Hey everyone, it's your favorite rogue Churpie. In this video, I'll be teaching you everything you need to know about Assassination Rogue in patch 10.2. I'll start by running down the talent builds, gearing in embellishments, consumables, and then finally I'll get to the rotation for AoE and single target. Be sure to like and subscribe to help support the channel and help me continue to make guides for all of you. Also, be sure to join the Discord, which is in the description, for class updates since I can't retroactively update videos. The most recent information will always be posted on the Discord first. Let's get on to the video. This is what our single target talent tree looks like. We work down our way into the Thistletea capstone, the Deeper Stratagem capstone, and the Shadowdance capstone. We use Shadowdance to snapshot our bleeds with this build, which I'll get into later when I explain the rotation, what exactly that means, so don't worry. And we take all the defensive nodes over here, and we take Atrophic Poison for Raid, and Numbing Poison for Mythic Plus. In the spec tree, we work our way down to Arterial Precision, Kingsbane, and Dragon Tempered Blades. Kingsbane is an extremely strong talent right now, and Dragon Tempered Blades allows you to put extra poisons onto your weapons, which is also extremely strong. The main talents that you need to be aware of with this tree, but I do recommend reading all of them and familiarizing yourself with all of the talents for AoE and single target. The main ones you need to be aware of to know exactly how they work and why, so you know why we do things the way that we do in our rotation, are the ones down here, so especially Kingsbane. And then when we come up here, we have Improved Garrote, Master Assassin, and Sanguine Blades, and Deathmark, of course. Familiarize yourself with all of these, though, all of the talents. It is very important that you read all of them, and I say this because in my last video, I kind of grazed over the talents with the expectation that you guys would go and read them. I got a lot of questions regarding to exactly what was written in the talents. So please go ahead and read these talents, especially like this. Master Assassin. Critical strike chance increased by 30% while stealth and for 3 seconds after breaking stealth. So during your subterfuge window on Assassin, you have 30% increased critical strike chance. So that will come into play later when we use our vanish as part of our rotation to try to manipulate our critical strike chance. Then we have our Improved Garrote, same thing. Garrote deals 50% increased damage and has no cooldown when used from stealth and for 3 seconds after breaking stealth. So Garrote deals more damage and has no cooldown when you're from stealth or when in subterfuge. Very important. Go ahead and read all of these. As far as our M+ talents go, in our class tree we change a couple of things. One, we go into this Improved Blind. So we have an AoE Blind. We go into the Improved Shroud, so 50% cooldown reduction on Shroud. And Numbing Poison. We use Numbing Poison in M+. On the spec side of the tree, a couple things change again. We go into Iron Wire, which is Garrote silences the target for 6 seconds when used from stealth, and enemy silenced by Garrote deal 15% reduced damage for 8 seconds. And this actually stacks with Airborne Irritant, so silence into blind, big DR, really, really cool. We go into Crimson Tempest, which is our main AoE spender, and we change the internal bleeding to Caustic Spatter. Caustic Spatter is an entire demon on its own. I'll go over how to use it, how to maintain it, and it's very, very important that you learn how to work around this talent. Into our capstones, we switch things up a little bit. We go into Indiscriminate Carnage, which is massive for our opener. It is very, very vital, and for all of our stealth windows, really, and keeping up improved Garrotes and improved Ruptures on every target in the pack, or as many as possible. And then Sudden Demise, which is a really, really cool talent, increases bleed damage by 10%, and targets below 35% health instantly bleed out and take fatal damage when the remaining bleed damage you would deal to them exceeds 150% of the remaining health. So with this talent, you'll just see mobs hit the floor, and it's really, really cool. It's really awesome, really fun playstyle. Would recommend. Alright, as far as gearing goes and stat weights, what you're going to want to look for is as much mastery as possible. So mastery over crit equals haste, so crit and haste are equivalent, over verse. If you're doing really, really high M+, you may want to stack more verse since it gives you a little bit more tankiness, but I probably wouldn't sacrifice too much of the other stats in order to do that. In terms of enchants, what you're looking for is mastery on your rings, and this is all listed on my Discord as well, and you can see everything there as well, but mastery on your enchants for your rings, Sophic Devotion or wafting Devotion on your weapons, Simit. It does change per stat weights. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but For me, Sophic Devotion sims higher than the wafting or wafting, and for other people, that enchant seems to sim higher than Sophic Devotion on one of their weapons, and so they run one of each. So make sure to sim at all times, anytime you get upgrades or anything like that. I will probably end up swapping one of them if my stat weights end up changing or anything like that to the other enchant. So very important, make sure you always sim. Waking stats on chest, and as far as your legs go, it's the standard armor kit, Watcher's Loam on your boots, and then you want to get either a primary stat with critical strike on it or a primary stat with mastery on it. They will sim pretty similarly, so just keep that in mind. Always sim it for your gems. And as for your other gems, you can be using the mastery and haste or mastery and crit gems, ideally. So as far as your consumables go, you're going to want to use hissing runes on both of your weapons, so make sure that you put them on both weapons. You're going to want to use Elemental Potion of Ultimate Power for your Battle Potion. There's the cheaper version, which is Elemental Potion of Power, but they're actually both pretty cheap right now, so do best with what you have. And then we have two options for our files. We have the Ice File of Corrupting Rage, which is our highest damage file. However, it does come with the downside of taking damage from it. And then there is the File of Tepid Versatility, which just increases your versatility, and even though it is our worst stat, getting a couple extra % of just raw damage from verse and a little bit of tankiness never goes wrong. So in M+, I would recommend running the File of Tepid Versatility for now, anyways. Once you learn dungeons better and know you can survive them, yeah, you could probably upgrade to the Corrupting Rage file for a lot of things, unless you're doing dungeons where things will just one-shot you right out. If you're doing things where you just get one shot, this one will probably still be used more in that high M+ setting. As for raid during prog, you may want to use the versatility file, but this will still do more damage. So really, it's up to you and how you guys do prog with your guild. So be sure to proceed with caution at least. So this is the example of the single target opener rotation. This is the full speed. I'm putting the full minute of cooldowns into this so you can see exactly how things develop over time. And I will explain the opener again in slow motion after this demonstration is done. I will also leave a written version of an example opener in the description, and it could vary depending on what procs you get. So it's not a one-size-fit-all opener. You still have to adapt on the go, but you need to follow certain rules, and I'll explain that as well in the slow motion overview after. Earlier in the video, I mentioned something called snapshotting. Snapshotting is when we use our Shadow Dance to enter a 10% buffed mode for Night Stalker to reapply our bleeds in order to get a buffed, damaged version of those bleeds. And that will continue after Shadow Dance ends as well. So your Shadow Dance will end, but the bleeds that stay on it will be the buffed versions of them. So that's where we're able to kind of optimize our rotation a little bit by reapplying our bleeds during that time frame, during that window. And it also works well because we have Kingsbane going at the same time, which scales with each new bleed that we apply to the target as well. After making sure your weapon poisons are on, you're going to open with the Garrote into Slice and Dice, into Mutilate or Ambush to 4+ combo points, Rupture, Mutilate to 4+ combo points, envenom, deathmark, shiv, shadow dancing Kingsbane, Garrote, envenom, refresh shiv, use T when Kingsbane is under 6 seconds, so you're using envenoms until then. And then Mutilate, Envenom, Vanish when Kingsbane is under 3 seconds left to make use of the Master Assassin talent, refresh your improved Garrote, and then maintain dots once they reach pandemic range and use Envenoms, and that's literally it. Once you master the opener, it is just about repeating the opener over and over and over, and maintaining using your cooldowns properly, and that's it. We try to keep our energy above 50% to make use of Sanguine Blades. You hold your shivs once they recharge for your Kingsbane windows, and you hold 1T for each Kingsbane window for when it's under 6 seconds to make use of the mastery buff, and you can use 1T in between each Kingsbane window to maintain your energy economy to try to keep it above 50% as much as possible. So this will first be the demonstration of it, and then again, of course, I'll go over it in slow motion afterwards, and I'll leave the example opener in the description, and it will change depending on target count and so on, so it's up to you to still learn the priority list and everything else. But this is the prime opener that you can do on 5 target at the very least. After you make sure your weapon poisons are on, you're going to walk into the pack, garrote with iron wire, slice and dice, and then you're going to fan of knives, rupture, mutilate to activate caustic spatter, fan of knives, rupture, build to 4+ combo points, envenom, deathmark, shiv, Kingsbane and dance, garrote, envenom, garrote, crimson tempest, fan of knives to 4+ combo points, envenom, shiv, and T when Kingsbane is under 6 seconds left. Refresh mutilate for caustic spatter. Get as many envenoms in as you can prior to Kingsbane reaching 3 seconds left. Vanish, garrote, rupture, garrote, rupture. That's the entire Assassination Rogue Guide. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe to help support the channel. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I'll get to them as soon as possible. If you can master the openers, you can master the spec. The gameplay loop revolves around recreating the opener over and over, so once you have that down, you're set. Keep grinding, and I'll see you on the next one.